And hello there. We're just a minute early, I think. And I am your host, Dr. Polly Heil-Mealey with Abundant Health and Wellness. And today we're going to do our lunch and learn on protein powders. Now, there was a report that came out this week that said that some of the protein powders that we take are laden with other things other than protein. And so we need to find out what that is and why it is. And you're going to be surprised to see what is in your protein powders. So making sure that I'm connected. I'm going to see if I'm on my little computer here. And I'm seeing if we're live. We're live. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that we're on because nobody's tuned in, or if you've tuned in, I haven't seen you tune in. So I want to just talk about some different things. Hey, Anna, talk about some different things with the protein powder, because a lot of people eat or take a protein powder. They think it's healthy. They think that it's a good meal replacement. They think that maybe they're getting more nutrition that way. And we certainly recommend protein powder, especially for people that don't like to eat a heavy meal in the morning, or they don't have time to do a meal in the morning, or maybe they're just older people and they don't eat enough protein and we want them to get more protein into their system. So we do recommend protein powders. We do recommend protein powders when we're doing our weight loss clinic, because we need to make sure that people have that. But people are always asking me about brands, and brands do matter. So, number one question maybe people would ask is it necessary to take protein powders, protein meal replacements? Is that necessary? No, it's not necessary, but if you want to, it's certainly okay. So there's some disturbing facts that I'm going to tell you, but I'm also going to give you some remedies for that. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm banning protein powders, because I'm not. I'm just giving you some information, and we're going to discern between the sense and the nonsense, as I like to say, okay? So in my paperwork, there's a new study that says many of the top-selling powders and drinks, these are protein powders and protein drinks, may contain concerning levels of heavy metals such as arsenic, cadmium, mercury, lead, and also toxins like BPA. Now, BPA is a chemical that you will find inside your labels, in your cans, and that kind of thing. And so when you open up, like if you have canned tomatoes, like crushed tomatoes, right? If you open up that can and it's got white on the inside, I think that is an indication of BPA. I may not be right on that. I try not to eat too many canned foods. But we don't want to have that BPA in our food. A lot of plastic wraps, plastic containers have that BPA as well. Your water bottles will have that as well. So you want to look at the little triangle on the bottom of your water bottle to see what number it is, because some numbers are BPA toxic and some are not. And so we want to get the ones that are not. Now, if you can squeeze your water bottle and it crinkles, you've got one that is high in BPA. So we don't want to do that. So these toxins stay in your body for years. And so we have a lot of people that come in and they have heavy metal toxicity, and they're asking us, how did we get heavy metal toxicity? Well, you can get heavy metal toxicity in a lot of ways, but obviously protein powders are one of them. So this is a report by the Clean Label Project. The Clean Label Project is a non-profit organization. They don't own any stock in any of these companies. They don't have any vested interest in making sure that one is better than the other or anything like that. So they tested, I think it was 134 different protein, 134 of the top selling protein powder products, according to the Nielsen an Amazon.com bestseller. So if you buy things from Amazon, then you're fueling this, okay? So it's a good thing. So this was the study in 2018, so it's just brand new. I mean, 2018 was just 5 months in. So they tested 134 products. They found that 70% of them contained lead, 74% of them contained cadmium, and then 55 of them contained BPA. So they had arsenic also was another chemical that they found in there. Now, cadmium, you may or may not know this. Hopefully none of my viewers are smokers, but cadmium is one of the heavy metals that is in cigarettes, and so we definitely don't want that. So this is the kind of kicker. Organic samples had 40% less BPA than did non-organic. So that's a good thing. So your organic people are looking for the BPA and they're calling that out, right? One protein powder product tested contained 25 times the allowed regulatory limit of BPA in just one serving. So, and the thing is, there are a lot of people that do more than one serving. I know when I do a bone broth fast, I will do more than one serving in a day. So we definitely want to make sure that we're getting the good stuff. So of all of the protein powders tested, the ones with egg or whey as the protein tested cleaner than your pea or your hemp protein. So we want to ask the question, why is this? Okay, protein powders that were plant-based had the worst testing, right? 75% of the plant-tested samples proved positive for lead. So what does that tell you? That tells you that lead is in the ground. So we'll get information from people from time to time in our manufacturers, and they will say this is grown on a medically clean field. And what that means is they have actually tested the dirt to see how much of the lead and the arsenic and all that kind of stuff, because it's in the dirt. So just because something is labeled organic, and we're going to get to that in a minute, just because something is labeled organic doesn't mean that the soil that it was grown in was clean soil. It may mean they didn't have pesticides put on it, it didn't have any kind of herbicides put on it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the ground was good. So this is why we only have a small amount or a limited selection of herbs and supplements that we want to recommend to you. Number one, we want to make sure that the ground is clean. We want to make sure that our suppliers take as much time and as much effort in making sure that the ground is clean as they do in wild harvesting, wild crafting supplements. So this is why we have a very limited variety, just so you know. This is kind of a not happy statistic. Certified organic protein powder products tested on average to have 2 times the heavy metal, lead, arsenic, and cadmium compared to the non-organic products tested. Now, I don't know if these people had a vested interest against organic products, because that really bothers me that our clean suppliers, or the suppliers that say they are organic, the suppliers that say, you know, that this is a health product that you can really trust, that they don't check for this, but apparently they don't. So let me get back to just a few statistics. Thanks, Kimberly, for those kind words. I appreciate that. Plant-based proteins may have a higher combination level of toxicity because plants are especially prone to absorbing heavy metal from the soil. This is from a PhD neuroscientist and director of operation at Eclipse Analytics, the lab used to test these protein products. whey and egg. Now, you know that whey comes from milk, right? And eggs, of course, come from chickens. So whey and egg proteins may have lower levels of heavy metals because the source of the contamination would likely be the feed given to the animals. Okay, so what that means is the feed given to the animals, the chickens or the cows, would be contaminated. But the animals' systems, their liver, their gallbladder, all that kind of stuff, will pull the toxicity out. And so their product, the whey or the eggs, is going to be less contaminated because the host body decontaminated a lot of that. So I hope that makes sense to you. When buying a product that's listed as organic, that does not reduce the chance of getting a contaminated product, right? So that's sad, but it says this is probably because the products are plant-based, right? So they have to get it in the right soil. So when the soil is contaminated, it can take years and years for that to detoxify, I guess is a good word to put it. Now, I have said in previous times, we've talked about a product called Dillo Dirt, right? So you can look at my webpage, you can look at my blog. I did a whole blog on Dillo Dirt. The Dillo Dirt is a fertilizer or a potting soil that is sold here in the Texas area, and it says 100% organic, and it is. But you have to turn the package over and look at the bottom of the package and read the bottom of the package that says this product is from a municipal wastewater plant, right? So what actually is Dillo Dirt? Dillo Dirt is the solid human waste that collects in the metropolitan water treatment plants. So they have to get rid of it. So they just decided if, horse manure is good, maybe people manure is good. And so they cleaned out these municipal water treatment plants, and they have sold the solid waste as organic fertilizer. Now, what they found out is that human waste absolutely ruins the ground. So if you are in the big box stores and you are buying organic fertilizer, please check the bottom of that to make sure that you're not buying something that is contaminated, because it will actually kill the ground and nothing will grow in it. So just throwing that out there. Didn't plan to say all that, but that was like an ooh comment, right? So anyway, so the best and the worst. I'm going to give you the best and the worst. So the best, I gave you the best first, give you the worst first. Nobody's talking to me here. Okay, we'll give you the worst first. Okay, the worst. The worst is, and this is brand name, and this is according to this report, Garden of Life Organic Plant Formula Chocolate Raw Organic Protein. That is the worst protein powder that you can buy. Now, a lot of people come in and they say, oh, I'm taking the raw vitamins, or I'm taking the raw this or that, and it's the Garden of Life brand. Now, Garden of Life used to be a very, very good brand. I know Jordan Rubin sold it. I don't know who he sold it to, but it's very telling that it is the #1 worst protein powder you can buy. The other one is Orgain Organic Meal Creamy Chocolate Fudge. Now, see, I would probably buy that because I like creamy chocolate fudge. Vega Vanilla Protein and Greens. Ancient Nutrition Vanilla Bone Broth Protein. Well, I have that here in the clinic, so I'm very disturbed on that one. Okay, I'm very, very disturbed. Quest Vanilla Milkshake Protein Powder. These are among the worst. Now, the study that rates the products also rated the best, and the same brand, Ancient Nutrition, right, has cinnamon apple bone broth protein, which was rated the best. So this is a Dr. Axe product, and we know Dr. Axe, we know we can trust Dr. Axe, and so what I'm thinking is that the bone broth has some issues with the plant-based ingredients that they put in there. So, just as a full disclaimer, people ask me about chicken broth that you buy in the stores. Well, chicken broth that is in the stores, even though it says organic, the host, right, the chicken, if it's eating grain that is not organic, then it would be eating heavy metals. The heavy metals get lodged in the bones, from what I'm told. And so when you render down the bones for bone broth, you're rendering down all those heavy metals. So we did reach out to Dr. Axe's company, and they did say that every precaution was taken to make sure that there were no heavy metals. So it's just kind of difficultly, it's okay. All right, so among the best is Biochem Vanilla, Jarrow's Formula Chocolate Whey Protein, Naked Nutrition Naked Whey Protein. We've got a lot of nakeds in here. Pure Protein Vanilla Cream, 100% whey. Now, a lot of the, and I learned this from from Jordan Rubin, is that you can have organic cows, and they are grass-fed, but they're not grass-finished. So maybe that's the difference between the way that you get something labeled organic, but at the end of the day, they still have contaminants. So I've given you all that as kind of a precursor for what I want to tell you. My favorite bone broth is this one, and we sell it here in the clinic. Now this one, out of 5 stars, this is the chocolate flavor. Out of 5 stars, it got 3 stars, so it's kind of a middle of the road. It's not 100% great, but it's not horrible either. And I'm just kind of a chocolate girl, and I like chocolate. So do I recommend that we don't do bone broth because of the contaminants? No, that's not what I recommend. The body has a detoxification system, and if you work with that detoxification system, then you're able to get rid of everything that you don't want in the body. So I'm going to show you a few products and talk to you about them and let you understand that if you do choose to do protein powders, and I have Ancient Nutrition. I do have that on my little cabinet at home, and I do the protein powders. We also have the Hubs likes a hemp-based protein powder. It's 100% organic, and he likes it. He likes the taste, and so we have both the animal protein and we have the plant-based protein. Now, I particularly like the Dr. Axe product because it has all of the amino acids that I need to make all of the enzymes that I need to be healthy, whereas the plant-based protein, not so much. Not that it's not bad, it's good. It's just different strokes for different folks. But as you can see in this report, and this is a consumer report, as you can see in the report that, and we'll link this to this web video so that you can go and look at it if you want to see where your specific powder comes in, okay? So what if you're dealing with heavy metals? Now, how do you know you're dealing with heavy metals? Well, one of the telltale signs is that your hands are always clammy. When you're always sweaty, your hands are clammy. Whenever you go and shake somebody's hand and it's like a wet fish, you know that person has heavy metal toxicity. So we've got this little product right here, and this is a cracked Chlorella, and it's very clean. It doesn't come from this country. It comes from another country. In fact, almost all of my products are sourced outside the United States. Why is that? Well, because most other countries have a ban on glyphosate. They have a ban on Roundup, and so they're not using those toxic chemicals on the plant, so your raw material is a lot cleaner. So this is cracked cell Chlorella. Now, cracked cell Chlorella is a green plant that will absolutely detoxify heavy metals out of the body. I also have N-acetylcysteine, which is called NAC, okay, and this also is not an American product, and it is a cellular detoxifier. We've got a product called Nat Body Clear. This is a product that it works at the cellular level to detoxify every single cell in the body. And what does that detoxify from? Well, parasites and viruses and bacteria and yeast. So we all have those things in the body, and heavy metals. And so we want to make sure that all of that happens. Now, as I said, I do the bone broth. I do it not every day, unless I'm on a bone broth fast, and then I do it every day, and I do it multiple times a day. So, but I also do every day, I do this little bottle. Now, this is called Cleanse, and it's a liquid. And to me, it tastes like licorice, right? So you might not like licorice, and as such, we've got the same thing in a tablet. I haven't taken the tablet, so I don't know. I don't mind the taste of the herbs. I do a lot of liquid herbs in the morning, and I just put them all together and then, just chug it. That's my morning wake up there, right? So this particular product, I like it because it detoxifies 7 channels of elimination. So I'm gonna see if I can get all this right when I tell you. You've got your bowels, you've got your liver, you've got your kidney and your bladder, you've got your lungs, your bronchioles, you've got your sweat glands, you've got your lymph, and you've got your blood. So that's 7. That's 7. And so I do this every day. So I'm not really worried that much about what goes into the system, although I can assure you that I try and get everything organic and I try and get the best possible thing that I can get. But if I don't, or if I do buy a good product and it's got something in it, then I'm going to be pushing it through the system because I have all of these detoxifiers at the ready. Now, do I take all of these all the time? Absolutely not. This is one that I take every day, and this is one, LBS2, that I take every day. So that just makes sure that I do go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times a day, and that all the channels of elimination are open. So if I have any kind of yeast, fungus, heavy metal, bacteria, virus, whatever, it gets out of the system and doesn't get lodged in the system. So I hope that makes sense to you. I do not choose to eat a lot of canned goods. Why? Because of the BPA. I do not choose to buy a lot of products in plastic. Why? Because of the BPA. I do not choose to buy recycled water in those crinkly plastic bottles. Why? Because of the BPA issue. So I try and limit all of that. When you are doing a protein powder that is soy-based, which we never recommend because soy is almost 100% genetically modified. Soy is also 100% counterproductive for estrogen and thyroid issues. So guys, even though you don't have a whole lot of estrogen issues, you also have a thyroid, and for that reason, we do not recommend soy products. However, I have to say that Genesis Pure, which is a supplier that we do carry, they have a workout bulking up powder, and it is soy, but it is non-genetically modified. So we make an exception to that because we do have bodybuilders that come in and they do want to use a good protein powder. There are about 14 at the last count I heard. There are 14 NFL football players that use this protein. So it's got to be good if the NFL will use it. It's been tested by them. So it is the exception to the rule of the no soy. But I still recommend for my ladies that they would not get a soy-based product. So I'm trying to think. I've got a few minutes. Nobody's asking any questions, or if you are asking questions, I'm not seeing it. Let me see if I can look on my computer here, if there's a feed. I'm not seeing a feed here. I'm not seeing any comments. So I don't know what to tell you else about this. I've gone through my list. I've showed you all of the information that I have for you. So I'm going to say goodbye. We've got the best AC people around here working on the building today, and they have vacated into another area to work on another area while I did this Facebook Live. So just want to give a shout out to Aaron Mechanical, who is great. So if you guys have any air conditioning issues and you're here in the Humble area, be sure and give them a shout out because they really help us, and they need to get back in my office. So if there's no question, I'm going to cut this short. Have a great weekend. Try not to get too hot. Enjoy yourself and rest. and I will speak to you soon. Take care.